make your own. It never fails. Whenever people find out that I make my own hooks and eyes, they are super impressed. And I have to be honest, I love that reaction. The best part is that it is so easy to do. It only takes some wire and a few tools, and they go pretty quickly. I was sitting there thinking about how I could show you how easy they were to make so that you too could impress everyone. And then this happened.
You guys both make your own hooks and eyes, right? Do you know how many you can make in like, I don't know, 10 minutes?
That's a good question.
Counted.
Want to have a race? See who could do more?
Ooh, I'm in.
I currently don't have any wire, but that sounds like
All right.
a fun thing to do.
Okay. Well, how about this? What we'll do is each one of us will record ourselves. Let's meet again tomorrow. And then we'll tell each other how many we ended up with.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Excellent.
All right. Done.
Go to the store.
I hope I win.
Game on.
Mhm.
All this wire, and none of it is the size I need. Of course, because isn't that how it goes? There's a couple other places it might be, so I'm gonna go look around and see if I can find it. It's the next day, and I looked last night, and I was not able to find my wire, so let's head to the store. So the question I get asked the most is how sturdy and reliable are they? I can totally understand that because nobody wants a blowout, especially when they're holding your bodice closed. And I can say from personal experience that while I've had commercial hooks and eyes fail, I have never had a handmade one fail. And the key is choosing the correct gauge. And 18 gauge is what I have found to be the perfect size. Any bigger than that and your hooks end up being too bulky, and any smaller and you risk a blowout. And using 18 gauge wire creates closures that are similar in size to the surviving examples we have from history, such as the examples we see on this Jean Fouquet painting from 1455. They also appear here in this 1490 painting by the Italian artist Francesco Bianchi. Beyond that, we have quite a few examples of surviving hooks and eyes from the 16th century, not only off the garments, but on them as well. According to patterns of fashion, the doublet of this suit of Savante Stura is fastened with metal hooks and eyes. Can I just say how much I love how sloppily they're sewn on here? It was all about efficiency over aesthetics. Wow. It's empty. 20 gauge. We have this, but they don't have it. It's not in the right gauge. So since they don't have what we need here, let's head over to another store. Several Ruffs from late in the century are closed with hooks and eyes as well. And right after the turn of the century, we see hooks and eyes overtaking points for attaching doublets to breeches. The Textile Research Center contains a collection of hooks and eyes found in Zeeland, Netherlands, and date to before 1532. These hooks and eyes found in the ruins of the Punta Restelos shipwreck of 1596 are on display at Castle Tyrol Museum. But my favorite is the display of hooks and eyes in the Allgäu Museum in Bavaria, which shows hooks and eyes in various states of production. I mean, how cool is that? So it looks like it's a similar situation here as it is over at Michael's. So I guess we're just gonna have to go home and order it online. All right, I'm looking for 18 gauge dead soft round wire. I am partial to red brass and order. Let's gather our tools. Let the adventure begin. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm going to cut these to the size that they need to be. So for the hooks, we're going to need 2 inches, and for the eyes, we're going to need 1.5. I'm just going to be using some regular side cutters and just go through and do those. All right, I've got the timer set. I have to win. All right, your marks, get set, go. Okay. All right, what am I doing? What am I doing here? All right. I should have done a couple practice ones first, huh? Okay.
To make the eye, I grip one end of the wire with my needle nose pliers and then bend the wire around the pliers. Then I just repeat with the other side. And when I'm doing this, I'm careful to make sure that I'm bending it in the same angle as the first one. Then I place the wire into the pliers at the widest part towards the bottom, and I'm going to bend the two ends towards each other. And I adjust as I get closer, making sure they are even. And then I use my pliers for any fine tuning. The hook starts exactly like the eye by forming the eyelets first. Then I'm going to take the pliers and place the narrowest part of the pliers in the center of the wire. And then I'll bend the ends back towards each other. Again, I'm adjusting to make sure that they end up being even. And then once that's done, I'm going to switch over to my flat nose pliers and I'm going to crimp the folded end together. And finally, I place the end into the pliers and bend the wire over the pliers into a hook. And at this point, I can spend some time adjusting the eye, adjusting things with, I usually like to use my flat nose pliers to do that. And now these hooks and eyes are ready to be sewn on. And this video shows you how to do it perfectly every time. Let's check in with the team for the result.
I did 5.5.
Ooh.
They're not the most beautiful hooks and eyes I've ever made.
Well, that's 5.5 more than I did because I didn't get around to doing it. I'm bad.
Mullen, it's between me and you.
I actually managed to do 7.5.
Wow.
You do 7. Holy
Yes,
cats.